Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priya Kali, your astrologer, and this is your astrology for the week beginning May 15th to May 22nd. And thank you so much for tuning in. Before I even get into May 15th, Mercury is newly direct as of late last night, May 14th. And this week there are major planetary alignments and aspects and shifts occurring daily. So you can expect your soul to grow at least 1 foot taller this week. There's a lot that we're processing, so move steadily, slowly. We are still in Taurus season, and we're moving to the Taurus New Moon on this week. So until the 19th at least, we're in the waning cycle, and it's a time for release. But with that said, I just want to dive in. Maybe I'll give you a quick rundown of the aspects this week. So May 14th, Mercury station direct last night. Today, May 15th, Mars is in Cancer and trine Neptune in Pisces. Tomorrow, May 16th, Jupiter ingresses Taurus. This is also my solar return, so I'm feeling hopeful and fingers crossed we have a nice ingress. Then May 17th, Jupiter in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. This is big. This is a huge turning point, collectively as well as personally. Then May 18th, the Sun in Taurus sextiles Neptune. And this again is very fertile energy and very creative and very sensual. But we're also releasing a lot. So move slowly with this. Then on the 19th of May, marks the Taurus New Moon, which is a new beginning. And this one is especially profound given that Jupiter is now newly in Taurus. And of course, we're going to talk about that. Then on the 20th of May, Mars ingresses Leo till the 10th of July and immediately will oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Then on the 21st of May, the Sun ingresses Gemini. We're entering a whole new season, and the energy lightens because the Sun will also trine Pluto immediately. So there's a great lightening given we've been in Taurus season for so long. And transformation. And then on the 22nd of May, finally, Mars will sextile the Sun in Gemini, which is also very passionate, and there's a lot of forward movement. So where things have felt slow and, maybe even stuck over the past 4 weeks, given Mercury was retrograde, now there can be not only gradual forward movement, but towards the end of the week, the energy picks up pace, life picks up pace quite dramatically. So stay grounded and use this time, especially as long as the Sun is in Taurus, really use this time to get grounded in your values now. So with that, I'm going to, get into the aspects day by day because there's a lot to uncover. So stick with me and we'll get through this. So last night, Mercury stationed direct. And I want to talk about this for a minute because these days surrounding Mercury's direct station or retrograde station, in this case direct station, they're known as Mercury storm phase, and this is a time when information tends to surface. With Mercury retrograde in Taurus and now stationing direct in Taurus, we're getting to the bottom of a truth, and there are realities to face. And so pay attention to what came through, through the retrograde over the past few days, and what's coming in, the insights that are coming through today. Because as Mercury being the planet of the mind and our perceptions, we're seeing another side to a story. And really, as they say, there's two sides to a story, and then there's the truth. So we've been through the Mercury direct phase, shadow, then the retrograde, and now we're in the final third direct shadow phase. So now we're really learning the truth of a situation where over the past 6 weeks we've been trying to see a story from, different sides to a story, rather, learning different sides to a story. Also, significantly, Mercury station retrograde a day after the Aries solar eclipse back on April 19th. So it may help, well, Mercury station retrograde on the 20th, but the solar eclipse was on the 19th of April. So it would help to look back at what was unfolding at the time. Because currently, Mercury is stationing direct, and over the coming 3 weeks, we can get back on the same page and find common ground with others and find a real sense of understanding moving forward. But it's also important now to look at, Jupiter, because Jupiter is currently at 29 degrees of Aries and is about to ingress Taurus tomorrow on the 16th of May. So Jupiter is currently triggering the eclipse degree from the 19th of April. So look at what has been coming. As you move ahead now, take time to reflect on what's unfolded over the past 6 weeks, or even since the eclipse, especially surrounding the eclipse, because now we're gaining a deeper understanding of situations, and not only the past, but how we can use that to create a better future moving ahead. Today, Mars in Cancer trines Neptune in Pisces on the 15th of May. And this is very emotional energy. The moon is currently in Aries now, and there may be passionate emotions surfacing. So it's important, if you're enjoying this energy, by all means dive in. But if there are more difficult raw emotions surfacing, or any pain, any sadness, anger, resentment, it's important to release this consciously, so you aren't getting into a downward spiral, because ultimately we are now in this waning cycle of the moon, and we're discovering a new depth of emotions even within ourselves. And there's a sense of urgency to this energy with Jupiter at 29 Aries and Moon in Aries and Mars in Cancer, which is the sign of the moon. There's a lot of urgency around here, but at the same time, with the Sun in Taurus, stay grounded. So you process what's unfolding consciously. There's a lot going on this week, and what's important now is that we're moving with intention. So we are being moved into action, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as it's an action that you're feeling inspired to take, then go for it. But if it's something that's upsetting you, then try not to push the current. Try to flow with this energy as best as you can, and sink into the present as deeply as you can, especially if there are any fears of abandonment or any loss that's surfacing. Recognize that everything changes, and we're moving from the Scorpio full moon and total lunar eclipse to the Taurus new moon, and life is changing shape and form. And Jupiter, currently at 29 degrees of Aries, is asking for greater trust and faith in yourself and in the universe, and to allow for some magic, because with Mars trine Neptune, really there's a lot of magic here. And this is the stuff, this is when people talk about manifestation, this energy is ripe for it. But then what are you manifesting? And if you aren't enjoying what you're manifesting, then with Mercury newly direct, the question is, how can we shift our perceptions? And in that, there can be the power to shape our reality. And really, this energy is so much like a potter's wheel right now. So you have a lot more control than you think in situations, but you don't have total control in everything. So it's more about us finding our center and getting to the bottom of a truth within ourselves and understanding our own feelings and desires and learning to self-soothe so we can release the past consciously and make space for new growth, because there's definitely growth coming up. Tomorrow, Jupiter ingresses Taurus. And this is huge. This is big. So Jupiter is the largest planet in the zodiac, in the solar system. And in astrology, it's known as Great Benefic. So it's a benevolent planet and it has a benevolent influence. But Jupiter will expand things. Jupiter and Saturn are both considered the teachers of the zodiac, but Jupiter will teach through expansion while Saturn teaches through discipline and boundaries. So with Jupiter, there's wherever you have Taurus in your chart, expect the coming year to be a time of growth and expansion. And Taurus energy is all about our money and our resources and our relationships, our closest relationships, and really our core values. So these are the themes that are being highlighted. And there's, Jupiter is the planet of good fortune and abundance. So there is very real abundance on offer, tangibly, materially, in terms of our living circumstances, as well as in terms of our relationships and bonds growing to give us a greater sense of comfort and support and security. Because Taurus is, again, it's a sign that speaks of loyalty and commitment. But Taurus also, again, speaks of our values. So with Jupiter and Taurus, and Jupiter as it enters Taurus will also be very close. The North Node is very close to Jupiter. So in Jyotish, this is actually considered to be Guru Chandra Yoga. So, which means, well, the North Node itself, it is the shadow of the moon. The South and the North Node are the shadows of the moon. And they eclipse the sun and moon at the time of eclipses, which is why we have eclipses. So these nodes, although they are not physical bodies, they have the power to eclipse the lights in the sky. And when Jupiter is traveling close to the North Node, it's being eclipsed by the North Node, in a sense. So Jupiter is the planet that speaks of wisdom and judgment. And it could be easy for our judgment to be eclipsed, good judgment to be eclipsed rather, if we're hungering for something. Or it could be that we're being presented with an opportunity, but we don't see it because we doubt it or we question it. In Jyotish terms or in Vedic astrology, in Vedic terms, Jupiter is the guru. And the guru, and even Jupiter in Western astrology, is the planet that gives. And if it can't give, it'll at least protect. But with the North Node and Jupiter being in close contact, and this is active till I think about September, and then the nodes and Jupiter separate far enough. But this is a period which requires extra humility and understanding that we don't know it all. Then we can be open to learning and be guided by the universe. And if you have a spiritual practice, or even if you don't, now is the time to really deepen your spiritual practice, because then even when we're acting in unconsciousness, it's easier for the universe. If we're surrendered to the universe, and it's easier for the universe to guide us to where we need to be, and to be guided to the right path at the right time, and to the right opportunities at the right time. Because there is that level of serendipity that's at play here, and that element of just having good fortune because you were at the right place at the right moment, and you couldn't have been there in that moment had you not been following your inner guidance. So it's like the entire universe is conspiring to bring you to where you want to be and to bring you everything that you need. Now it's our job to have faith, because Jupiter is the planet of faith, and to trust that everything that we want and desire is coming to us. It's our ability to nurture what's important and to recognize that everything material is transient and all relationships change. People die. It's a matter of, allowing space for growth and allowing people to change then as you are changing as well. And I'll definitely do a separate audio or report on Jupiter and Taurus. So if you're not on my newsletter, do sign up at cosmicdiaries.com so you can stay updated. This is a brief overview of Jupiter and Taurus. But for the most part, you can expect this to be a really bountiful time. A time when we're being freed from a lot of things that have been weighing on us. And although Jupiter will expand things, and this can be heavy, we're nearing a new moon, so the more we can let go of the past, we can create space for what's now taking seed. So wisely, and be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it now. This really is a time to materialize things, or when life is materializing in a powerful way, where our dreams are materializing in a powerful way. And speaking of power, on the 17th of May, Jupiter in Taurus will square Pluto in Aquarius. So any square aspect is a chance for inner resolution, and this is really what I've been talking about right now. It's this finding your inner power to bring about the transformation that you need and want in your life, which will require, as we move through this new moon to the 19th, a powerful letting go of the patterns that we've outgrown, of the things we don't need. We as human beings accumulate a lot of stuff. And Taurus speaks of all our physical, tangible things and valuables and all physical energy. So it's a good time to really declutter your life and simplify your life. And you don't need to, we're in a process of weeding out things that are overgrown and unnecessary and taking up space. And there are huge opportunities surfacing, real tangible opportunities, but that means that you've got to create space for them in your life. And if this is something that you want, then you've got to create space for it. Not for anyone or anything else, but for yourself, for your growth, for your soul to be able to grow. And there can be a great sense of liberation in this, whatever's unfolding on this day. But these are huge, big, very real life changes. Taurus is very physical, tangible energy that, it's not an imagination, it's not mental energy, it's physical energy. So expect major shifts over the coming days that are tangibly rearranging your life. And it's just a matter of you making room for what's coming in. And, opportunity is knocking. We have to invite it in and welcome it in. And above all, Jupiter speaks of gratitude. So be grateful for everything that's unfolding, because it's teaching you something, it's giving you something. And, even if you feel like you're at rock bottom, still there's something to be grateful for here. Find anything. If you're listening to this podcast, you have access to the internet. That means you probably have a place to sleep tonight and food to eat. Be grateful. And when we start that practice of gratitude, then we open ourselves to the abundance of the universe. Then on the 18th of May, the Sun in Taurus will be sextile Neptune in Pisces. And this is very delicious, sensual, watery, earthy, fertile energy. It's very creative energy. But we're in the deep, dark, waning cycle of the moon, in the balsamic phase, which again is the most fertile phase. And when we're planting seeds for the new cycle. So there's a great deal of awareness that's required, especially if you're releasing any heavier emotions, any sadness, This is about understanding the seasons of life and the cycles of life. And as you can see, there's so much that's growing within you, and there's so much newness that's already, you can see the seeds of it, and that's already sprouting in some cases. So be patient. This is Taurus energy. Taurus, it's like a baby needs 9 months to grow. You don't want the baby to be born before 9 months. Similarly, the seeds you're planting now will take time and will grow organically over time. But just pay attention to where you're feeding energy and what you're nurturing in your life now, because that's what is going to take seed. And make no mistake, the seeds you hold, it's like, I've used this analogy before, but it's like the magic beans from Jack and the Beanstalk from the story, where we can expect sudden growth spurts. Wherever you have Taurus in your chart over the coming year, expect, periods of sudden growth even, and big growth spurts and tangible opportunities to expand your world. But all of this requires a solid foundation and for the roots to be deep, so you aren't toppled by a passing wind. Then on the 19th of May, we have the Taurus New Moon, and that takes place at exactly 11:54 a.m. Also on the 19th of May, Mercury will be sextile Saturn. So this is stabilizing communication. We're reaching, again, deep insights, understanding. We're giving shape to our dreams now, and those seeds that we're planting, you can materialize wishes. This is a very powerful energy for manifestation, really. But recognize that anything you want, anything physical you want so that you can feel happy, or you think you'll be happier when it's in your life. So try to find your center and find that happiness within already, because you have access to that right now. And that's the fastest way for you to allow in whatever else it is you desire. This is Taurus energy. Taurus is a Venus ruled sign, so it's about planting those seeds and then allowing nature to do the rest. So just being very clear in our intentions and what we nurture and what we feed, and the relationships that matter to us and the values that matter to us. And if something has survived the eclipses and is still around and here in your life, you can bet that it has something to teach you and something really good to offer you. Now it's our willingness to learn those lessons in humility. And that does not mean you have to stay in any situation that's, toxic or has eroded your self-worth and self-esteem, because Taurus really is about our self-worth and self-esteem and our values. So find that within yourself. Ask yourself how you value yourself, because that's how we value ourselves is what will reflect the relationships and the resources and the money we attract. So, or even the behavior we attract from people. So dig deep for your own self-esteem now and your values and your self-worth, and then trust you'll draw in whatever else that aligns with you, with that. Then on the 20th of May, Mars, and so on the 19th of May, the Taurus New Moon aligns at 11:54 a.m. We're planting seeds. Pay attention to the seeds you're planting, because these will grow and they're going to grow fast. Important to note that the moon is exalted in Taurus, which means that it is able to think of the moon. The moon is always changing shape and always moving, or is rather the fastest moving light body in the sky. So our emotions are always changing and fluid and in a state of transformation. And But in Taurus, there's a way for us to ground our emotions and for them to nourish the earthy energy of Taurus so we can give life to something or bring something to life. So this is again, we're entering a powerfully fertile new cycle. So pay attention to the seeds you're planting and what you're nurturing now, because Mars is also at 29 degrees of Cancer. This is the anaretic degree, and we're being driven by powerful emotions. It's just a matter of having awareness of what's driving us and what's motivating us, and not allowing ourselves to be motivated by fear, but to be motivated with forward motion and a sense of passion and curiosity, so we can nurture the things and relationships that really matter to us and that we care about and we value. Then on the 19th of May, things are shifting. Mars will leave Cancer to enter Leo until the 10th of July. And this whole transit between now and the 10th of July, pay attention, because Mars will be leading Venus's transit in Leo later this summer. Well, Venus will enter shadow on the 19th of June, so next month really. But this is giving us the first glimpse of what's coming up later in the summer. So pay attention now. The seeds we're sowing now will be sprouting by then for sure. And there's real gold here, and there's real lucrative financial as well as emotional gold to be mined. But everything has a price, and nothing is worth selling your soul. And that's something that's coming up today on the 19th as Mars enters Leo till the 10th of July, and immediately as it enters Leo, it will oppose Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is now newly in retrograde in Aquarius. So this is a massive personal transformation. We're called to show up authentically, and what's unfolding is there's a need for courage and to be bold and to drop the mask and recognize that you are enough, and this is your opportunity to be the force of change that you seek. The energy is alchemical, transformational. We're shedding skin. We're resurrecting in alignment with an inner truth of our being. So let go of the need for validation or trying to control others or others' perceptions of you even. Be who you are, and then trust. This energy is powerfully magnetic, so trust that what's right for you will be drawn into your life and into your experience. You don't need to control anything or anyone else. This is more about harnessing our own power and recognizing our power to bring about change in the world around us. This is also the last day of the sun's transit through Taurus, and what's folding is an ego death. But in that, we're learning what's truly valuable and precious and real and still very much present in our lives. And so definitely relationships are deepening and changing powerfully and dramatically. But be true to your heart and your values and yourself as you enter this natural new stage of evolution for your soul and for your growth, personal growth. You don't have to hold on to expectations of what someone else will be or will be like. This is a matter of how you're changing and growing through your experiences. Then on the 21st of May, the sun enters Gemini, and the energy is shifting again. And now life is picking up pace over the next 4 weeks, and things are lightening up, and we're leaving behind the past, because the sun, as soon as it enters Gemini, it will also trine Pluto. And this is yesterday. Mars was opposed Pluto in Leo. Leo being the sun, being the sign ruled by the sun. So we're having conversations, we're learning information, we're making choices, and hopefully we're recognizing that, if anything, the last Taurus season has taught us that we don't really, and the Scorpio eclipse, we don't really have too much control in life, and control really is an illusion. The only power we do have in life are the choices that we get to make and how we respond to life. So whatever's unfolding now, there's a powerful transformation underway within you, within your relationships, in the life around you. And this is about your evolution and your growth and your ability to approach situations with a new mindset in alignment with who you are today, and to let go of the patterns that you've outgrown so you can foster healthier connections with others where there is support, where there actually is very real support right now. So with the sun now in Gemini and Mercury direct, there can be honest communication. That can be, we're learning information, allowing us to lighten our load and to free ourselves from a weight of the past. Remain detached and avoid going to extremes. And this can be a very liberating process as you learn information that shows you how much agency you have in situations. Because then on the 22nd of May and then on the 23rd of May, the sun will sextile Mars on the 22nd of May, and then on the 23rd, well, just overnight, so 22nd itself, the aspect is approaching. Mars squares Jupiter, bringing us awareness of our choices and asking us to get aligned with what we want and to be aligned in word, thought, and deed. So if you say you want something, do your actions reflect that? Are you being honest with yourself first? Then we can be honest with others. Drop the ego. Then there can be meaningful exchanges and a real understanding that comes from the heart, an ability to communicate and connect from a level of the true self and not with this mask of the ego. So communication is opening up and we're understanding our choices, and it's important that we choose happiness now. It's important, would you rather be right than happy? Choose what makes you happy and then trust the right things will follow. Because Mars is also, as it sextiles the sun, it's approaching that square to Jupiter, and so Mars is in a T-square now with Jupiter and Pluto. And a T-square aspect is when planets are arranged at 90-degree angles from each other. And there are 3 planets at 90-degree angles. So we've got a 4th planet that's missing on this T-square cross, fixed cross, which is Scorpio. And pay attention to where you have Scorpio in your chart, because that's where you can go to balance this energy. It's like a wobbling 3-legged table. It needs that 4th leg for stability. So Scorpio is a sign and the house in your chart where you can go to allow, to bring stability to this transformation that's unfolding. With Mars square Jupiter, these are huge realizations coming through, inner realizations of our desires, what we want, what is possible. And, it's important to stay grounded and humble and not let the ego get ahead of itself. But at the same time, it's important to have self-awareness of your potential and your worth and your true worth. Then you can attract equal partnerships with others who recognize your value, not just because of what you can give them, and who you can align with, not just because of what you can get from them, but because the coming together as a team can build something much greater than what anyone can accomplish alone. That said, with Mars square Jupiter and sextile the sun today, this is all about self-awareness and understanding our own desires and what we want, and then allowing space for transformation and growth in our relationships and in the world around us, and to consciously let go of what we've outgrown as we focus on what's important. And this is a huge step forward, and this is a huge turning point in your life. So move in awareness, in self-awareness and in awareness of your values. And with the sun newly in Gemini, in awareness of your choices and your perceptions. Because the more we can let go of our perceptions, we can start to learn really valuable truths of the opportunities that are in front of us now, waiting for us to step into them and really rise to this occasion. So I think I will stop there for now. I'm sure I could go on, and I only kind of scratched the surface of what's unfolding, because I didn't want to go on forever. But this is if you've stuck around and if you're still listening, thank you. And I hope you've gotten something out of this, because this is a powerfully transformational week, for lack of better words even. We're growing leaps and bounds in self-awareness, in terms of our soul growth and in consciousness. So allow for this space of growth within you, around you, in your relationships. Allow people to grow and meet people as you are today and not in the past, especially once Mars enters Leo, because it's all about the present. So meet people where you're at today and have faith in the natural cycle of growth. Just move with intention, because what you feed will grow. And moving to the new moon, it's time to release and clear space for all the new opportunities and that are about to enter our life, in our relationships as well as financially and in our material circumstances. With that said, thank you for listening as always, and I am available here for personal astrology consultations if you want to look at where all of this is playing out in your chart and everything that's shifting for you. So do email me at priya@cosmicdiaries.com. And definitely, if you're not already on the newsletter, please sign up at cosmicdiaries.com for the newsletter, and check in at the website for your monthly horoscopes and new astrology articles and updates. I'll be back with you with more next week. I'll be doing the weeklies again, so I hope you stay tuned. I wish you the best for this big week. This is Priya signing off. Thank you for listening. Namaste.